why do you apply different standards for a man? And I would argue, maybe because I'm a man, but I would argue the standards you have for men are a lot higher than the standards you would have for a woman. Why do you apply different standards depending on the gender, when arguably if you date both, it's actually about the person?
Yeah, like, no, that's a really good point. I think because arguably it's just easier to be a man, and so therefore you're like, well, it's easier for you to get a raise.
Why is it easier to be a man when men...
I mean, the gender pay gap just says it all. And
okay,
it's really
but there's also a gap in, like, men commit suicide more.
Yeah,
men are dropping out of colleges more.
But that's toxic masculinity that men can't speak about.
So then why are we saying that there's, like, a patriarchy when men have it hard too? Like,
you
just said women have it harder than men. But if women had it harder than men, like, then why are more men...
I didn't say they had it harder. I just said it was easier to be a guy.
Okay, if it's easier to be a guy, then why do more men commit suicide?
Because they feel, because of toxic masculinity, which is perpetuated by both men and women, they feel like they have to be macho. And I don't subscribe to that at all. I'm very much like...
could it be possible that men have a harder life than women?
Yeah, of course it could be possible. Of course it could be.
Okay. So that would, like, contradict what you said earlier.
Well, this is it. It's not black and white. It's not right or wrong.
Yeah.
Gray area, baby.
Yeah.
So everything is, there's no, like, very solid. So yeah, that's, and even the whole rule and exception, it's not one size fits all. It's really not. Where there are some men who thrive and succeed because they're a man, because life is easy. Therefore, I'd be like, I would expect you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. My dad's the top half a percentage of earners. Okay, he's the white man, right? But here's the thing. He worked 80 hours a week my whole life. I didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
How is that, like, the patriarchy when my dad put in 80 hours every week his whole life?
Yeah,
from the time I was, like, a child, right? Missed a lot of shit. Like, he earned that. Yeah. And I'm never going to say that's, like, the patriarchy.
Well, the only way we can...
But now he's a white male CEO.
Yeah.
Right? So is that the patriarchy, or did women not choose to do that?
Well, that's the only way we could argue, is the only definitive answer you could have is if you had a exact female replica to be like, she likely would not get where he is. That's the only way we could argue it. Right. But it doesn't take away from his efforts. It doesn't take away from that.
So then why do we talk about it at all? If you have no idea why there's a pay gap?
Yeah.
Like is it possible that it's the industries that women pick? Because if you look at countries that have more choice, so if you go to, like, the most egalitarian countries, there's more of a pay gap rather than less, because women choose jobs with people and men choose jobs with objects. So, like, I'm from a family of 10. All the boys are engineers. None of the girls are engineers. Like, is it possible it's a biological difference rather than a patriarchy?
No. Yeah, no, I think the pay gap is more like within. So I don't know if you saw on International Women's Day, they had a bot that literally showed you the pay gap within organizations. So obviously women will tend to go for things like being a nurse, being a teacher, and they pay a lot less than being a financer.
Correct. Yes.
But the pay gap then exists so a lot of things where there's a lot of male actors who will be like, I will not sign on to this contract unless I know my female counterparts are being paid the same. And so I think the pay gap then comes and
well, it's also the trait it's also the trait, like, disagreeableness. So as women, like, we're naturally more agreeable.
100%.
So I'm terrible at negotiating. I just want to make everyone happy, and I just want to be like, yeah, I'll do whatever for nothing. And but that's, like, men are more disagreeable if you look at the agreeability scale. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So again, like, why do we just assume patriarchy when you don't know if it's because of different personality traits and gender differences?
Yeah. No, and gender, they are so real. So in my studies, it showed that men are more likely to go for, so let's say there's a job and a woman is more likely to look at a job specification and go, oh, but she's more likely to say no to herself, and she's more likely to go, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. Yeah. Whereas a man is more likely to actually inflate their ability and be like, I'm going to go for that. And it actually reflects in relationships where a man is more likely to actually shoot above and be like, I can. Yes. So it's a reason we see a lot of less attractive men with more attractive women. The women are more likely to be like I spent a lot of my life being like, I'm a 4 out of 10. I'm probably about a 7, but I spent a lot of my life dating men, and people would be like, Amy, that guy is not in your league. Like, why do you not? And they're definitely, like, you know, out, like, you're out of their league. And it's actually, there's a real gender difference. And is that biological? Is it social? We don't know.
Well, right there, that's because men and women value different things. Men value looks more. Women don't value looks as much. They value things like social status, like a blue check mark. A blue, and this is, I've dated a guy with a blue check mark, right? Like, we like social status.
Yeah. Like, we'd be lying if we said we didn't care and it didn't matter.
Or whatever it is. Like, it could be height, right? It could be, you know, maybe he's not as good looking facially, but he's tall.
He makes money.
Or he makes money,
yeah.
Right? And so that's why we see there's a gap in that.
Yeah.
But we don't scream patriarchy for like men.
Yeah.
Like,
but then we don't know. That's it. We don't know. Is it because of? So you've got the biopsychosocial approach, and which is what I tend to subscribe to, because that's it. It's not easy to be like, oh, it's just biology, or it's just sociology, or it's just your personal.
But my question is like I just don't even understand, like, in this day and age, how we are fighting the patriarchy. Like, what more can they do? I can do any job I want. Like, nothing has ever stopped me from doing anything.
Yeah.
So like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what I need feminism for now. Like, I can't think of one thing.
I have a question going back to what you said, and I think it's valid, but I want to give you a scenario. So you said originally that the reason you arguably apply a higher standard to men is because you felt life was easier for them. So it's easy. You should expect more from them, or they have advantages, right? More so than women, right? So my question then is, would you apply a higher standard to a white woman over, for example, a black male?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
Really? So you would expect the white woman to earn a certain amount, to be taller than you, to make you feel protected, and to be able to provide for you more so than if you were getting to know a black male?
Then it's the intersection between race and gender, but that's it. As a westernized white woman, I'm well aware of my privilege. And it's like, I know that, like, it depends on, that's it. It depends on, it's tough. It's
because I'll be honest, like, I think women just always apply a higher standard to men than women, because they're men regardless of what race they are.
So say, like, we go for a job interview and it's
wait, you're non-binary. Me and him.
Yeah.
Who you dating?
That's it. It really, like,
who you picking?
Yeah, exactly.
He probably makes more money than me.
Yeah, but then but then being a female, I'd probably be like, is money my most important, or is it emotional connection and how funny you are? Like, it would depend on what. As a woman, I think I would. I don't know. That's it. Would I, well, as a woman that doesn't necessarily want kids anytime soon and is quite financially independent, I probably wouldn't be like, money probably wouldn't be my priority. So then I'd be like, well, physical attractive would come into it, but then funny, compassion.
Me, okay.
So it's really, but that's it. It's really hard. It's really hard to be like, no, but it's really hard to be like, is it just money? Is it protection? Because I'm also quite scrappy, so I can hold my own as well. I don't want a man to protect me because I'm like, I'll fight.
Do you think you could fight me?